Greetings everyone, welcome to the first episode of useless information to be made after the 1.4.5 update. If I'd stuck to my word, this would be episode 21, but given the time frame that we know now, that would have never happened. Either way, this is episode 27, and the 30th episode considering special episodes. If you'd like to watch them all, the playlist is linked here, or at the end screen. Without further ado though, let's begin. 1. 1.4.5.0 is the first version of Terraria to support the newer ARM-based Apple Silicon architecture, which is used on almost all new Macs released since 2021. This should improve Terraria's performance on Mac, as it no longer has to translate from the older Intel x86 architecture. 2. In the changelog for 1.4.5, it states that the savings display was now capped to 999 platinum to prevent overflows. In my experience, this was already the case pre-1.4.5. 3. Blackened fish, a new 1.4.5 food item, is perhaps the most useless food item in Terraria. It is made from many kinds of plentiful to common fish, but almost all of its ingredients can be crafted into better, or much better, food items like cooked fish or sashimi. Therefore, it is pretty much always suboptimal to craft blackened fish. You're just getting a worse food item. There is one exception to this rule. If you have a single neon tetra, you can craft blackened fish to make a food item. However, 2 neon tetra make a seafood dinner, a much better food item, so this is still a shitty craft, albeit one that is not always suboptimal. 4. Golden Light was made craftable from golden carp in 1.4.5, making it the only non-critter ingredient in the recipe. Also, did you know that golden carp can't be fished up in the desert? Because I didn't. 5. In the 1.4.5 changelog, it is said that Tipsy reduces the average time to poo by 75%. In actuality, it reduces the time to poo by 2/3, or 66.66%. I am not rounding up. 6. On the topic of poo, did you know that having negative luck will make you release 20% more poo? Yeah. Looks like I gotta re-review that poo rocket video from like 3 years ago. 7. If you fish with 2 of the 3 lava fishing enabling items, you will catch drops significantly faster. This is because if you have 2 items equipped, if the lava fishing bite fails, which happens a majority of the time, you get a significant amount of catch time cut off your next bite. In 1.4.5, they made it so that having all 3 items equipped cuts off even more time from your next bite. Almost double as much as having just 2 equipped, which is nice. But it required you to get the hotline fishing rod, which is easier said than done. 8. Presumably the first item implemented in 1.4.5, or at least the one with the lowest item ID, which is normally the first item, is the Mushroom Staff minion, internally called Dead Cell's Mushroom Boy Summon item. The last item implemented, or at least the one with the highest item ID, which is normally the last item, is the Skeletron Music Box. 9. Spiky balls in Terraria 1.4.5 last for exactly 4,800 ticks, or 80 seconds. This is an increase from 60 seconds pre-update. 10. Before 1.4.5.4, bad luck used to have a chance to break your watch, which would cause it to quit working. It wasn't that rare too. At negative 0.1 luck, which is possible just by holding a raven feather, it had a 1 in 3,000 chance to occur per tick, meaning you could expect it to happen in 3,000 ticks, or just 50 seconds. After that, it was a 1 in 18,000 chance per tick to fix it, or an expected time of 5 minutes. Alternatively, you could fix your bad luck and it fixed itself. This seemed quite annoying. Thankfully, those goblin engineers got around to fixing that. 11. Terraria 1.4.5.5 added Blue Sky to the list of social media platforms listed in the game. Twitter is still there, by the way, where it is still called Twitter. 12. Terraria 1.4.5 appeared to formalize the seed names for Don't Dig Up as Remix and Get Fixed Boy as Zenith. Before this, from my experience, various different names are used to refer to these secret seeds. Which ones did you use? 13. The Power Bomb, which is a hard mode bomb crafted with 5 regular bombs and a cobalt or palladium bar, is now the most powerful explosive in Terraria. Notably, it can destroy early hard mode ores, which other explosives cannot do. It has a radius of 9 tiles versus a bomb's 3 tiles. 5 bombs would destroy 45 pi squared tiles versus 81 pi squared tiles for the power bomb, so in terms of bombs, this one is more bang for your buck. Well, excluding the cobalt bar. 14. The Dryad now sells all planter boxes immediately instead of gatekeeping them behind bosses progressively until hard mode. Thank you, Relogic, this has made my early game herb organization way better. And no, I refuse to use clay pots. 15. After so long, gray rarity trash items are no longer immune to lava. They now join their white rarity counterparts as the only things sad enough to burn in lava. 16. 1.4.5.0 is the only Terraria update to be released with a final .0 version number. The other versions tended to just omit the number, e.g. 1.4.4, not 1.4.4.0, or just start from .1, like 1.3.0.1 and 1.4.0.1. 17. The 1.4.5 changelog uses the American term behavior once, and the British term behavior 4 times. This makes sense given the international nature of the team, and shows that the changelog was likely not written by a single person, bar the possibility of a linguistically confused British-American hybrid. 18. Interacting with a track now dismounts you from the minecart when riding it. Man, that would have been useful during the no keyboard run a while back. 19. The water gun was given the ability to put out torches and campfires in the new update. Interestingly, it can also put out cursed torches and cursed campfires, despite those flames supposedly being water resistant. It says it right on the tin. I've been scammed. 20. The X NOR logic gate in 1.4.5 states that it activates when the number of activated lamps connected to it is 0 or more than 1. In 1.4.4, this used to read that it activates when the number of activated lamps is not 1. Functionally, these mean the same thing, excluding the possibility of there being negative, non-integer, or an imaginary number of activated lamps, but I guess Relogic thought the new positive definition was more intuitively understandable. 21. Timers in 1.4.5 are able to be placed mid-air now, just like junction boxes in the days of yore. You can then build platforms off of them. Man, the ice rod becomes more obsolete by the day. 22. Now that whip stacking has been removed, all the whips with attack speed buffs are in a strange place. Previously, these global buffs let you buff attack speed for other weapons, but now since you can't do that, these buffs have just become redundant. They could just become part of the base attack speed of the weapon and then removed at this point, now that you think of it. 23. The solar tablet in 1.4.5 now specifies that it summons a solar eclipse instead of just the eclipse. 24. The Cyborg and Guide were given immense health regeneration buffs this update, with the Guide receiving a plus 500% buff, and the Cyborg receiving a plus 900% buff. And lastly, 25. They made it so that Meteors now avoid Crimson and Demon Altars when generating. This, unfortunately, means that the no pickup run is now impossible, as that relied on Meteors breaking altars to allow the mechanical bosses to spawn, as the Pwn Hammer cannot be picked up. I guess it's good that the community was able to finish that before the update came out. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more of these, the playlist of the entire series is here. Just don't watch too early episodes or, well, you'll realize the standards and quality of 15-year-old me. Either way though, subscribe if you enjoyed, and good day, and goodbye. See you next week.